Isles of the Forgotten Sky. In a distant part of the world, past where any map dared to stretch and where the stars above seemed to whisper old songs into the winds, there lay a region known only in myth, the Shifting Expanse. Sailors who ventured too far into those waters rarely returned, and those who did often came back changed, haunted by dreams of islands that moved, spoke, or vanished entirely. Some claimed the islands themselves were alive, watching, remembering. Among those drawn to these tales was a girl named Elira. She was no ordinary wanderer. Born in the floating town of Tursin, where homes were built atop interconnected rafts and ships, she had known nothing but the sea her entire life. Her mother had vanished when Elira was young, swept away during a monsoon near the edge of the expanse. Her only keepsake was an obsidian pendant shaped like a compass rose, warm to the touch, which pulsed faintly under moonlight. Elira, now 17, had grown restless, though her father and neighbors discouraged her curiosity, warning her that the sea did not forgive those who poked into forgotten corners. She felt pulled by something deeper than longing. One morning, after a dream of singing islands and skies filled with flying whales, she packed her bag, tied back her copper hair, and stole away aboard an old wind sloop named Whisperfin, accompanied only by her best friend, Kyle, an amateur navigator with a talent for reading star patterns. The first days were tranquil. They glided through cerulean waters, charting paths that few dared to draw. Kyle tracked shifts in the winds, noting how they often bent toward the expanse, as if pushed by invisible hands. Elira, meanwhile, began hearing strange melodies at night, distant lullabies that echoed just beneath the waves. Sometimes, the pendant around her neck pulsed in response. Then, the sky changed. One night, as the moon dipped into the horizon, the sky lit up with a golden shimmer that rippled like the aurora. From the mist rose an island that hadn't been there moments before, towering, crystalline, and covered in jungle vines that glowed with bioluminescence. They named it Isla Mirren, the first of the forgotten. Drawn by wonder and necessity, they anchored Whisperfin and stepped onto its sands. The island was alive. The trees bent toward them. Flowers opened only when Elira passed. Animals, some familiar, others stranger than anything known, approached without fear. And high atop a cliff, they found a monument etched with symbols that matched the ones on Elira's pendant. It told of the Veari, an ancient seafaring civilization that had mastered the skies as well as the seas. The pendant, it seemed, was a key, a beacon to awaken the heart of the Isles, something left behind in the wake of a great vanishing. That night, a storm rose from nowhere. Lightning danced like serpents across the sky, and Whisperfin was torn from its moorings. Elira and Kale were stranded. They survived by building a shelter and using old Veari tools found scattered across the island. Kale deciphered bits of the monument each day, revealing the truth. The Shifting Expanse was once a unified kingdom of skyborne isles, anchored by a central force, the heart, which balanced nature and kept the isles tethered. When it fractured, the islands drifted, faded from memory, and became myths. And now, they were waking up. Elira began having vivid dreams, visions of people dressed in starlight robes, cities floating above waterfalls, and a giant crystalline tower rising from the ocean. In her dreams, the islands spoke, calling her by name. She and Kel soon learned that Isla Mirren was only the beginning. The map carved into the stone showed 5 more: Isla Noctis, Isla Thorn, Isla Virea, Isla Salis, and finally, the Heart Isle, known only as Aelia. Driven by purpose, they built a raft using ancient levitation stones Gale activated with runes, sailing from one lost island to another. Each island brought a trial. On Isla Noctis, night never ended. The air shimmered with illusion. Shadows whispered fears. Illyra faced the shade of her mother, who begged her to stop searching. But Illyra clutched her pendant and stepped into the dark, emerging on the other side with newfound courage. On Ela Thorn, nature fought back. Vines ensnared Kale. Thorns drew blood that made the earth rumble. Only by showing gentleness, singing the lullabies Illyra remembered from her childhood, did the island part its thorns and reveal a hidden relic, a shard of the heart. Each island gifted a piece, not metal, but memory, stored in glowing crystal fragments that floated when held near Illyra's pendant. But not all was peaceful. A rogue fleet led by Captain Vale of the Ironwake, a sky pirate turned relic hunter, had followed them. He believed the heart could grant immortality and mastery over land and sea alike. He sought to bind the islands to his will. On Ila Salis, a battle erupted. Kyle was wounded, and the pirate stole one of the heart's shards. Illyra, heartbroken and enraged, tapped into the pendant's hidden power. The winds bent around her. Storms obeyed her cries. The sea parted long enough for her to escape with Kale, who hovered near death. They reached the final isle, Aelia, where sky met sea. The island floated high above the waves, accessible only by ancient airlift platforms long dormant. Illyra placed all the shards into an altar. The pendant melted into light and reformed into a compass, not pointing north, but inward. A sky bridge formed. She carried Kale across it. Within the island's core stood the heart, a massive, pulsating crystal surrounded by ghostly memories of the Very. They welcomed her. She was not only a descendant of their bloodline, but a chosen warden of the sky. Captain Vale arrived, desperate, clutching the stolen shard. He tried to fuse it into the heart, but the heart rejected him. Light burst forth, shattering his fleet and casting him into the sea. Illyra offered her strength to the heart, not to control the isles, but to restore balance. The heart awakened. The skies cleared. The islands ceased their drifting. Each one, now aglow with gentle light, returned to visibility across the world's oceans. Their magic seeped back into the tides. Nature, memory, and sky were one again. Kyle awoke days later, healed by the heart's grace. Illyra stood at the edge of the floating cliffs, her hair catching the wind, eyes fixed on the horizon. She and Kale would return to Tursin as legends. But they would not stay long. More islands waited. And the skies, once forgotten, now sang her name.